Full pedal down.
There is some augmented noise coming from the speakers.
And that wasn't even in sport mode. But it went fairly quick there. 0 to 60 was 6.8 uphill.
That's pretty good.
And I didn't torque brake it or anything. Like, that's no joke. So the performance difference in here, the Delta, is night and day compared to the hybrid we just got out of. I'll do it one more time. It doesn't feel quick, but it does accelerate.
Yeah, so once you get up to higher speeds, the electric motor isn't providing as much assist as it does from
a stop.
Yeah, a stop. Because we were accelerating from a stop, and we got a pretty decent amount of G-force imparted into our bodies
going uphill, too.
Going uphill. But once you're rolling, it's more about the gas motor that's doing the job. So after about 70, it kind of drops off.
We get into the brake pedal. I'm going to get fairly hard into it right now. It's okay. I mean, I actually think the brake pedal in the straight hybrid, not the turbo hybrid, felt a little bit better, but who's going to care in this anyways?
There's probably some minor tuning differences between them.
Yeah. So, I mean, we didn't do a traditional, like, walk around with this. We went straight into the driving impressions. We've already done walk arounds and full breakdowns of the hybrid as well as the turbo. This is the most expensive model that they provide. This is the Hybrid Max Platinum, as storm cloud gray on the outside, which is a pretty cool color. On the inside, kind of this diamond pattern. It's straight plastic. It looks nice, and it's not super highly reflective. It's pretty matted out, which is great. The materials in here are definitely better than they were in the XLE we were in not too long ago. From the dash is softer, the doors are softer. So appearances, it doesn't look that much different, but when it comes to the touch points, it is a nicer experience. And these seats with the suede and the actual leather trimming on the outside, it does feel more like a luxurious experience in here.
This feels more premium.
It's a $60,000 car compared to what, a $45,000, so $15,000.
Okay, $15,000. My math was wrong.
It's okay. I know.
We're tired.
But it's been a long day.
That's still a big delta, though.
That is a big delta, and this gets worse fuel economy than that XLE we were in.
This gets 27 compared to 36, so 10, roughly 10.
But it gives 10. It gives you that, which, you know, the other car can't.
It feels like the 8-speed shifted fairly quickly.
I agree. The 8-speed.
This is the 6.
This is the 6. So the 8-speed on base turbo non-hybrid, that felt the most responsive. Not the fastest, but it felt the most responsive. And we like the shifts. The shifts on that 8-speed were very satisfying. And okay,
there's a little lag. It seems.
It's, you know, going from the next gear, it's just not quite as snappy and satisfying as the 8-speed, which I'm kind of surprised, to be honest, because typically I like transmissions with less gears because they don't gear hunt, and they're more predictable and typically more responsive, but not the case here. The 8-speed and the base turbo is quite fantastic.
Yeah, I think it's, I mean, I haven't driven this yet. I'll drive in my video shortly. Yeah. This feels like, at least when you demand full throttle from nothing, it takes a moment for it to get ready, downshift, spool up the turbo, add the electric boost.
And to add to that, the hybrid with the ECVT is more responsive than this, even though it gives up 120 horsepower or something. It is more responsive when you put the pedal down, or it reacts immediately. Now this will dog it down eventually once it picks the gear and goes, but
like the shifts are imperceptible just when you're part throttle here. It's very smooth.
We've been grading this thing so far on full throttle. When you're just tooling around, it is very smooth. And at low speeds, it feels very much like an electric car because that rear motor is always working. There's no like disconnect that I know of. So it's 4-wheel drive all the time. With that large e-axle on the back, 80 kilowatts that we see in the RX 500H. We also see that e-axle on the, I think it's the BZ4X, and the Lexus RZ uses that same transaxle back there. So, you know, it's just kind of like the parts bin for Toyota at this point, but
it's a beefy motor.
It's good. It's substantial.
A lot of torque.
Yeah, I would love to see that motor with a plug-in hybrid. No plug-in hybrids for this vehicle at launch. The Lexus TX is supposed to use that rear motor with the V6, and that will be coming out hopefully by the end of the year, early 2024. So
combined torque in this is 400 pound-feet, which is a lot.
That's why it can tow 5,000 pounds, and the other ones are 3,500 or so.
I think the ride quality in here is pretty equal between all the different trims that we've driven.
Yeah.
It's kind of a big floaty SUV experience. I think the springs are a little soft. At low speeds, I think it does a very good job where you have that sort of nice initial soft impact when you're going over a speed bump, or in parking lots where you have like a lot of sort of differences in surfaces. I think it does really well. When we get up to speed on the highway here, we're definitely getting, and we're not traveling quickly, we're getting a little bit of oscillation, you know, in the body here.
This is not a car I'd want to hustle other than in a straight line, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Not like, let's say, an Acura MDX, which is in the same price point at this point with how this is equipped, or let's say a Mazda CX-90, which is also in the same price. But both of those cars feel much, much more at home when they're even pushed a little bit. This thing, when it's pushed a little bit, it feels very soft, floaty, boaty.
Any Lexus with adaptive suspension feels a little better, a little more taut too.
The TX will feel like a completely different car than this, even though it shares so much.
We've talked about this in other videos. I think that's sort of my main criticism is just...
right now the ride is pretty rough.
Yeah, the road surface here is
not perfect.
Not very good.
Yeah.
We're definitely feeling...
It's bumpy.
We're feeling it.
It's bumpy, yeah.
But
I've also...
For most people, I don't think the buyer of this is going to be too upset over that.
I don't think so. But I'm interested to see what like the base price of the TX will be, because a base TX is going to ride a lot better than this and probably cost about what this does. It'll give up horsepower.
Probably to start, it's going to be what this is at the top end.
Like Aloha Village. Aloha.
It is so beautiful here just driving through Hawaii.
Yeah, and different times, like the clouds are rolling in now. It started sprinkling just a second ago. We were here earlier in the day, and it's just mind-blowingly beautiful. I could be on a 125cc scooter just a kid in a candy store. So,
yeah, this is stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
And Toyota, thank you Toyota for picking such a beautiful place and for hosting us for the week. This is really an amazing
I'm not worthy.
experience.
I'm not worthy. So yeah, some of you guys are concerned like, oh yeah, you guys will not be able to provide an honest experience or like an honest takeaway from this because you're going to be goo-goo-eyed from being in Hawaii at a 5-star resort. And it has been an unforgettable experience, but we pointed out several times the ride quality here is not best in class, the handling is not best in class, the spaciousness, the technology, and the efficiency is really what this vehicle is all about, and Toyota's done that really well. What they do well are the hybrid powertrains. They've been doing them longer than anybody in the volume that they're doing them. Yep. And just one thing that is a real high point in here is the quietness of this cabin. They're all super quiet. I'd say maybe top of the class in terms of quietness. They're certainly right it's hard
up
to
there.
argue that. Yeah, I would say
very good.
In terms of sound volume, it's really excellent. It's almost luxury quality.
This is much quieter than the regular Highlander, in my opinion. I haven't driven that in a couple of months, but I didn't think that was particularly quiet. This is really nice, and the steering in here, I think, is a high point too. I think it's very good. Yeah, and that's where you mentioned that in some of your videos, you like the steering. To me, it's a nothing burger, but that's just different perception. So you're able to pick up different things from the steering. Then I just don't like the steering feel in here. It's very light, and even in like sport mode, like I don't think it does anything to tighten up the steering wheel a whole lot. But I think I've just been spoiled because I drove the CX-90 a couple weeks ago, and that steering feel in that was like A+. So. I just don't like how it feels when I'm doing this U-turn here. The car turns okay. That's not the issue. It just doesn't feel that rewarding, maybe. But it is a large 3-row crossover, and it is super easy. People are moms are not going to care. Dads, taking your kids to school. I would get over that within a couple days, to be honest. Just the lack of steering feel, because it is, this is a utilitarian vehicle. At its core. I think we're going to disagree on the steering, but in my video, I'm going to talk about it a little bit more.
Absolutely.
I think a little bit more detail, but this is a really good set it and forget it car. You just hop in, you start driving, and you don't have to think about stuff very much.
Yep, plug and play.
Everything's super familiar.
It is.
All the control structure is really
Right here.
good. It's
Yeah.
excellent, actually. And
Yeah,
Toyota does an excellent job with the control structure. This is particularly good.
But here, ergonomics are fantastic, and this is something we didn't really talk about in our previous videos. Like head-up display here. I don't have to take my eyes off the road. 12-inch screen is standard, and all these knobs are easy, and buttons are easy to get to. Ventilated seats, easy to plug in your stuff. Wireless phone charger, big cup holders. Like this doesn't feel over cluttered or anything. A really small shifter so it doesn't get in the way. And the arm, like where our arms sit, is very natural as well. So from an ergonomic standpoint, like taking a long trip on this and just living on it on a daily basis, it's a home run.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be a good volume seller for Toyota. I think this is going to be a hit for them. They're estimating 100,000 units, 125,000 units
minimum,
in the first year of 2024. So that's a pretty big seller.
Yeah, it's going to do well for them, and I can't wait to see people trying it out and buying these things. So it's really going to do a great job compared to what they have in the lineup. It's too big, too expensive with the Sequoia, or too small and not accommodating enough in the regular Highlander. This is really going to bring a lot of people into the brand, potentially that may have left or have never been in a Toyota before, and it's exactly really the only last hole in the Toyota and Lexus lineup, because they have so many vehicles.
Filled in every
this
little
is the last one.
cranny.
They even have sports cars now. This is plugging that gaping hole in their lineup, and it's going to do well for them. I want to thank Eric for being with me from Red Match TV, and make sure to watch all of his videos and all my videos on the other trim levels from here in the Big Island of Hawaii. Thank you guys. Catch you in the next one. Peace. I'm back in Florida, no longer in Hawaii, and I thought I would give you guys a proper exterior-interior breakdown of this Platinum grade and maybe go through the spreadsheets talking about maybe the differences of the trim levels as well. So I didn't get a chance to do a walk around on the Platinum just because, well, specifically the Platinum Hybrid Max, just because we were, there's a third vehicle of the day. We were pretty tired. We were the last one of the last ones driving. So let's talk about the Platinum here. What the Hybrid Max gives you. The Platinum grades come with the panel roof. I don't believe the XLE or the limited grade even have a standard roof. Second row that folds forward. There are 3 different levers that helps move the seat forward, reclines it forward and back, as well as folds it flat. Now you have this little step here that makes it really easy to get in the third row for a crossover. And this little piece here is removable. I show that more in my turbo model review. It is really easy to get in and out. And if you have car seats in the captain's chairs, the kids can get into the back very easily. You have USB-C, 7 USB-Cs total. So you have vents over the heads of the passengers in the back row. I had plenty of headroom in that third row, as well as leg room. It was quite impressive. This seat is all the way back. I'm at 6'1", and I could be back there for a long time. You can also recline the third row. Multiple different settings. So it is a very comfortable experience in all the grades. Now, we do have sunshades, and that is standard across all grades, which is great for the second row. Better look at that third row there. Also, the USBs are standard across all grades, all 7 of them. But interior colors are really limited. For the Hybrid Max Platinum that this vehicle is about, you can get it in Portobello as well as light gray or black. So you have 3 different options there, but for your lower trims, you just have light gray or black, and you only get soft text on the XLE. It's not quite as soft, but it was still comfortable. The seat felt exactly the same, just a little bit softer material with the leather trims on the limited and the Platinum models. With the Portobello is kind of like this tan color, and then the light gray would be the way I'm going. The black is just too much black in that big of a vehicle, especially in the lower trims that don't get the sunroof. We have 20 cubic feet of space behind the third row. Now you get AC 1500 watts on the hybrid models that are limited or Platinum. The gas models can only give you around 100 watts, if I remember correctly, of power. And JBL is not available on XLE, but I believe it's on the limited and the Platinum grades. All right, let's go in the next image. Now you can fold the seats flat, which is quite incredible. And you have these long straps that, you pull the seats back up. There's those power outlets that I mentioned, and there's the seats all folded down. Very impressive from a utilitarian aspect of it as well. You have heated and ventilated seats in the second row on the Platinum grade. I believe it's just heated outboard seats on the limited grade. But yeah, you see those USBs there. Also, this climate control is standard, not the heat and ventilated seats, but the climate control buttons here are standard with this little screen, even on the XLE model. You also have the 1500 watt AC plug-in in the second row, as well as the third row. So it's great to have multiple plugins. All right, powertrains. We have 362 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque here, 6-speed automatic. This engine only powers the front wheels. Then you have a large electric motor with around 100 horsepower and 125 pound-feet of torque or so powering the rear wheels. Towing on the gas model as well as the hybrid max is 5,000 pounds. The standard hybrid's only 3,500 pounds of towing. Fuel economy on the hybrid max, like we said, is around 27 miles per gallon. The hybrid, gosh, 36 miles per gallon easy, I would say. If it's nice weather, if it's terrible weather, good luck getting around 30, because we know hybrids struggle in cold weather as well as electric vehicles. And the gas model, we saw around 21, 22 miles per gallon in our driving. A few different images here. Here's the door trim that I mentioned earlier. I already showed that B-roll. It looks cool. It is plastic though, and it's just not very luxurious. You get plenty of different wheel options. 20s are the biggest these wheels get. The Lexus TX, I'm hearing 22-inch wheels for the F Sport model on that. And I'm really looking for the TX, as you guys saw in the video, for just ride quality and ride handling perspective over this guy. 18-inch wheels are standard on the XLE, and then the other trim levels, the limited and platinum grades, get varieties of 20-inch wheels. Also on the back, this is the only way you can get dual exhaust visible, is on the Hybrid Max models. We have the Beyond Zero logo here on all of the new Grand Highlanders. This is Toyota's initiative to be carbon neutral by 2050. You see it on the new Prius, and you also see it on the new Tacoma. You don't see it on the new Corolla Cross Hybrid, so you have to wait for the next model year for that to happen. Headlights in the front end is very much similar across all grades. The grille down here, so this is exclusive to the Hybrid Max, this kind of aggressive front spoiler, but really the rest of the vehicle looks very similar on the front end compared to the other models. And some people think, especially when I was talking to other journalists, they think the design of this is too blah, too plain for them. It doesn't bother me. I drive a minivan, and that's not exactly a showstopper. So I actually prefer the looks of this more than the standard Highlander. But when I see the standard Highlander in the XSE trim, it looks pretty cool. But yeah, I just like the simplicity of this design as well. I think it looks very good overall. Oh, also digital rearview mirror. Forgot to mention that in my driving impressions. It works pretty well here. And then you also have heated ventilated seats up front. What else was I going to say? Oh, you have a 360 camera here. Those are your JBL speakers, minimal shifter. There's your 360 camera as we were driving around the lawn there in Hawaii. Android Auto, Apple CarPlay are both wireless. 12-inch screen here is standard. And then the limited and the platinum grades get the larger 12-inch screen behind the steering wheel. There's your Apple CarPlay, not my phone. Omar's phone, make sure to check out Omar Drives. And then you also have this gold trim that is exclusive to, I believe, the Platinum models, specifically maybe the Hybrid Max Platinums. Little Grand Highlander door sill, I appreciate you also have those all-weather Grand Highlander mats in this grade. Gotta love the digital screen here that is very much identical to what we see in the new Crown, the Toyota Crown, which is a great screen. But that's all I have to share on the Grand Highlander Hybrid Max Platinum. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Make sure to watch my videos on the hybrid as well as the turbo models. Have a great day. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.